There were a lot of great looking games from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Games that were probably too expensive at the time. Games just had table presence to spare. Subsearch was one such game. Edward and I loved that game. It had led us to search out other games in this realm. Chopper Strike was our next purchase. Chopper Strike has a tagline on the box that reads, "The two-level land and air battle game." And that was precisely what drew us to the game, the two-level aspect. Since the game came out in 1976 and it had many little pieces, I went to my board game dealer whom I trust. He had a complete copy with all pieces intact. I brought it home and Edward and I wanted to play it immediately. So grab your favorite opponent and let's play Chopper Strike. Welcome back to Luncheon Board Game. I'm your host, Adam Collins. Let's take a look at the rule clarity for Chopper Strike. Considering that the rules are 50 years old, I have to say I was impressed. While they may not be written in the most efficient way by today's standards, they leave nothing to chance. The rulebook is a small 8-page booklet. The first half is how to assemble the pieces and the board. Then there are 3 pages of rules, bookended by how to disassemble the sky grid. Time to explain to newcomers. About 5 whole minutes. There are only a few rules, and they are pretty simple. Gameplay. As the rulebook would suggest, first you must assemble the board. Remember, this was a huge selling point for Edward and me. Assembly was easy enough. Put the legs on the clear plastic sky grid level, place this over the ground, or board if you don't want to sound cool, and make sure that the one sky is over the one ground square. Each general then takes their army consisting of 6 choppers and 6 jeeps, then deploys them as they wish following this simple rule: anywhere in the back row. It is now time to try and outwit your opposing army and achieve victory. The active general rolls the 2 dice and then moves pieces according to the die rolls. The custom D3, which is just a D6 with 2 1s, 2 2s, and 2 3s, tells how many units will be moved this turn. And the standard D6 tells how many spaces each of those pieces must move. The pieces can be the same, all tanks or all choppers, or a mix of both. When moving, the general tries to attack enemy pieces. There are 4 different scenarios. A chopper attacks a chopper. A chopper must hop over an enemy chopper to defeat it, much like checkers. If a chopper ends its movement next to an enemy, it gets to take a bonus move to hop over and defeat that chopper. Also, one chopper can attack more than one in a turn, so be careful on how you are deploying yours. A chopper attacks a jeep. A chopper must end its turn directly over a jeep. A jeep attacks a chopper. A jeep ends its turn directly beneath a chopper. And lastly, a jeep attacks a jeep. A jeep ends its movement on top of an enemy jeep. All defeated pieces are removed from the board. To help with knowing if pieces are directly lined up, both the ground and the air boards have grid locations. There are lakes on the ground and the jeeps cannot drive through them, much like the lakes in Stratego. However, I find this odd. Why not? They're army jeeps. They should be able to drive through lakes. If you forget to vanquish a piece on your turn, the opposing general may remove the piece at the start of their turn. So if you stop underneath the helicopter and forget to move the helicopter of your opponent takes your jeep out before even making a movement. So the object, as printed on the box lid, destroy all your opponent's choppers or jeeps. Yep, it's that simple. Replayability. While there is not a lot of dynamic gameplay, it does feel like chess. There are a lot of different ways to approach your attack or react to your opponent's attack. Do I quickly get my chopper over the lake to protect it from jeeps below, but leave it semi-vulnerable to other choppers? Do I position my jeeps for surface-to-air combat and hope the enemy doesn't roll high enough to take them out with their land forces? This does give Chopper Strike some replayability and some decision-making. Is it as complex as chess? No, I did not see Grandmaster Magnus Carlsen sitting around a table playing Chopper Strike. I do, however, see me doing just that. Component quality. Chopper Strike stands up well. The game is 50 years old, and the copy I have might be a bit on the yellowing side of the clear plastic. The rest looks great. The plastic choppers and jeeps are sturdy molded plastic, and the chopper's propellers spin if you want to give them a flick. Many of the copies that I saw online had broken propellers on the choppers or missing the surface-to-air missiles in the jeeps. None of these are integral to the gameplay, but having them all together gives it a better table presence. Although a little broken here and there does show it was loved and played. The 2 dice are standard, one engraved D6 and the custom screen printed D3. The board is a standard chipboard. Lunchtime potential. The BGG page lists the playtime as 45 minutes. I cannot imagine that it would take that long to play Chopper Strike. I believe it should be much closer to 20 minutes. This should make it easily playable in a lunchtime. Heck, you could even get 2 or 3 games in. Make a tournament out of it. This could be a fun lunchtime challenge. Artwork. There was very little artwork needed in Chopper Strike. It looks almost like the board design was stolen straight from Stratego. The box art is a father and son playing the game. As I said, not much going on in the art department. However, the person who designed the choppers and jeeps, well, they did a great job. They're pretty detailed given the age of the game. Expansions and other. None. I am, however, disappointed that you cannot download an STL file for the jeeps and choppers. This would make printing replacement parts super accessible to people that just want to recomplete their copies. Bang for the buck. Back in 1976, the game cost $8.88. How do I know this? The JC Penney sticker is still on my copy. In today's dollars, that is roughly $50. So it is easy to see why it was not as successful as it would be today. Chopper Strike is obviously out of print today. The only way to get a copy is on the secondhand market. Like I said earlier, I bought mine from a local guy that specializes in older games. I paid, coincidentally, $50. But my copy is complete and no broken parts. If you search on eBay, you can find it in various conditions for about $30 to $50. Other reputable secondhand stores also have it on sale for about $50. So, is it worth $50? That is a bit expensive for a 50-year-old 2-player game. However, for the table presence and the amount of fun Edward and I have already had with it, I think we'll get our money's worth out of it. If you have a crew that would be interested in playing it as a tournament, then you should most certainly look into getting a copy. Summary. The BGG page lists Chopper Strike with a, we'll say below average 5.3 out of 243 ratings. Yeah, it seems about right. Now, I think you could up this game a little bit. There are many games from this style, from this era. So far, we are 2 for 2, though, on playing good ones. Like with Subsearch, I do believe that Chopper Strike could be reworked with some additional mechanics and be brought back to life. It has a solid skeleton to build off of. Sadly, like most games from this era, no designer was listed. It was probably designed by a Milton Bradley think tank. I picture a group of game designers sitting around a table pitching ideas off each other until something sticks. That thing turned into Chopper Strike. Edward and I enjoyed ourselves. It is a game that we will play again. Heck, we might even try to take it to game days and play with more people. Who knows? Next up from this era, Carrier Strike from 1977. Why? Well, because it was cheaper than 1975's Tank Battle, that's why. And it just so happened to arrive by UPS today, the day I'm recording this episode. So stay tuned while Edward and I work our way through these miniature war games from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. As usual, you can reach out to us at facebook.com/eatlunchandboardgame. Visit our website at eatlunchandboardgame.com, and you can always send us an email at eatlunchandboardgame@gmail.com. And remember, board games build bridges.